Now we come to the results of the year. Attendance, Wendy with full marks 48. Points, Wendy with 340. We bought a small EPNS cup to be given each week for the best and quietest girl. Rosemary won this 9 times, and so she had a prize. Wendy gained the highest number of points, 46, for concert work and sailor work combined. Captain and Rosemary made the most squares for the blanket during the year, 34 each. During the year, we had 2 silver paper competitions. The first was won by Janet and the second by Wendy. And there is a customary acknowledgement in the paper from Tinkerbell. Christmas Party 1950. On the Tuesday before Christmas, we held our Christmas party. All the club members came and we had a very nice time and a grand tea. Shirley Marshall, who helped in the summer concert, was a guest, and we also invited Mr. and Mrs. Seed to the party. Mr. Seed had very kindly made a puppet theatre for us, and as a token of appreciation we gave him 20 plain cigarettes. We gave Mr. Stacy 1 ounce of St. Julian tobacco and Mrs. Stacy a calendar. After tea we all played games. Mr. Stacy made us all very frightened by pretending to give us an electric shock with some wire. Not real, of course, but we did not know that. We all had a very good time, and when the party ended we were all sorry. Everyone looked forward to the next one and hoped it would be as great a success. Rosemary Loxley. The story of the Sheredean Club continues from 1951. 1951. Pat Stacey, who was known as Captain, continues. The committee chosen was Captain, Anne and Joy, and Rosemary made secretary. We had closed the library down as Wendy said she was not doing much trade. But at Anne's request, I started a club bank. Any of the club could join, even if it was only for a penny a week. At the beginning of Feb, we had a new member join, Valentine Thompson. 2 weeks later, Rosemary Neal, who we called Rosemary number 2, joined. And at the beginning of April, Rosemary too brought her friend Betty Shaw to join. They were both only 9 years old. Anne will now tell you about our hike at Easter. Good Friday hike, 1951. On Good Friday, the club went on a hike to Lamley Dumbles. They were Wendy, Val, Jill, Rosemary, Joy, Captain and myself. The weather was not very nice, but we set out to make the best of it. It did not rain much while we were going, and when we arrived we played down the Dumbles for about half an hour, getting very muddy, and Wendy fell down and lost her hat in the stream. When we had just got the firelight, down it came, rain, sleet and snow. We finished our dinner hurriedly and set out for home. We had to face the rain most of the way, and before we were even halfway home we were soaked, and in the end we walked through puddles instead of trying to avoid them. When we got home, Mrs. Stacy provided some of us with skirts, jumpers and shoes, while our own dried. At the end of April, 2 more girls joined, Maurice Ellis and Julie Palmer. We decided that at Whitsun we would like to go camping, so one day Daddy took me to see Mrs. Fiore, who lived at a farm on the Allerton Road. But unfortunately she could not have us there, as the owner of the farm would not allow camping. But she suggested we should try Mr. Slack at Catcliffe Hill Farm, Arnold, which was not far away from there. This we did, and he said we could have a field there. So we got cracking and advertised for a tent. We succeeded in getting quite a nice bell tent with everything belonging to it, including a large ground sheet for £4. Then we bought 10 yards of hessian to make some screening, Dixie frying pan, 3 Cape ground sheets, mallet, rope, jugs, basins, dairy cloth for covering things, and other small items. Other things we had given to us or borrowed for the weekend. The Thursday before Whitsun, Anne, Gillian and I went out there on our bikes, armed with 2 spades, to dig the fireplace, grease pit and lats. Now we will write a full report of the camp and campsite. When we returned, we sent some tobacco to Mr. Slack, thanking him for letting us have the site. This is the poem we sent with it. Here's to the farmer who's always slack, takes from the land but puts it back, genial and friendly and never a damper, encouraging and helpful to every camper. Here's to the health of our very good friend. We hope this baccy's a suitable blend. By A.L. Stacey. We also gave Mr. Cowley 26 for taking us and bringing us back in the lorry. These are pictures of those girls from the Sheredean Club that went on their first camp. This is a picture of the girls in the back of the lorry, but I could not find a full report of the camp and campsite. Although this is a picture of the campsite. We had a silver paper competition on June the 5th, which Wendy won. There is Tinkerbell's thanks in the paper. The next event was the Youth Gala Week. Anne will tell you all about the part we played on the day of the opening display. The opening of the Youth Gala Week, 1951. At the opening of the Youth Gala Week, some of our members were present. They were Val, Wendy, Janet and myself. We went to help Mr. Henstock to sell tickets for the activities of the following week. I wrote and stamped some tickets for free teas for the Loudham Grange boys and for the Women's League of Health and Beauty. Although we did not sell many, if any, tickets, we tried very hard and were rewarded with a free tea. After that, we had finished our set jobs and Janet and Val went home, and Wendy and I stayed for the dancing. We were then joined by Captain, Josie and Jill, and Captain and I sold some tickets for the dancing and afterwards joined in. Monday evening went off very well, and it was such a pity it wasn't well supported, as we had a very good cast. Among the artists were Bonnie Forrest, a well-known singer in Nottingham. Shirley Hart was very good on the accordion and piano, and a team of girls from Church Drive and boys from Robert Mellor's in a quiz arranged by my father. The girls won. That was the cover of the programme. Price, at least 2p. Friday evening, 3 of our members went to the old-time dance at Robert Mellor's school. Price 2 shillings. They were Pat, Josie and myself. We did not know some of the old-fashioned dances, but had a go. The cloakroom was a classroom near the hall, and another classroom was the refreshment room. The dance ended at 10:30, and we went home, after which proved to be a very pleasant evening. Gillian Morris writes, Swimming Gala. July came, which was the night I was to swim in the gala. Crowds waited outside the dressing rooms to change to swim. All was well till I saw the girls I was competing against. Then my heart went in my mouth. I got changed, then went out to see the others race, but the first sight of the people made me shiver. Race after race went by, until at last the time came. I threw my towel from my shoulder and went to the starting point. Everyone got ready for the signal go, and we're off. By this time the water was very rough, and it was a job to keep my head above the water. And that was the front cover of the programme for the Youth Gala Week. The Club Concert, 1951. The Club Concert 1951 was held in July. It began at 7 o'clock on a very pleasant evening, although it was a little cold, and plenty of people came along quickly and took their places in the audience. The concert commenced with the opening chorus and was followed by the play, which was called Before the Play. This, I think, went off very well, and Josie was good as George. She forgot her beard, and I had to whisk on and give it to her. After a lot of practising, Jill and Anne tumbled over properly on the day. The play is taking place backstage. It is a rehearsal before the play actually begins. The poor producer, Miss Brown, is in a terrible state because Mary, the princess, does not turn up and everything goes wrong. This play was followed by 2 poems, one, The Owl and the Pussycat, recited by Betty, and the other by Janet. Later in the programme, Josie did a tap dance and another delightful dance. But before this, however, 6 of us performed A Visit to the Ballet, which Josie, of course, had arranged for us. Anne and Gillian and myself recited, and the puppet show, performed by Josie and Gillian, went off very well. The doctor's surgery was excellent, and I think Val was very good as the deaf man. We ended the concert with a campfire, in which we all joined, and some of us sang solos, which were well appreciated, and we then finished off the show with the ending chorus. After the concert, the audience either tried their luck at the sideshows or went in the house to the sale of work. I think this concert went off very well indeed, and I feel sure the audience agreed with me. Wendy Stacey. This was a printed programme for the concert. It had the opening chorus, The Owl and the Pussycat, poem, Visit to the Ballet, In the Long Ago, Tap on Toe, an interval, and after the interval, a puppet show, The Tiger, The Doctor's Surgery, Sir Patrick Spens, Dancing, Ode to Autumn, and the Campfire. Again, we made about £5. Everyone seemed to have enjoyed it and thought we had done very well, especially for such a small club. After the concert was over, Anne and I went camping together into Derbyshire. We borrowed the club's equipment for this week and managed to give the club 7 3 for the loan of it. Sheila Headley and Dorothy Sale also went with us. Here are some photos.